If you guys are looking for some cheap FIFA 20 coins, head over to u7buy.com. You can buy coins off the website. You can also buy players. So if you wanted Messi, you could buy him off the website. Make sure to use code MUZZ at checkout for 5% off. Yes lads, and welcome back to a brand new video. So today we are doing a yearly Premier League prediction, and I will tell you this right now, this was very tough to pick. The relegation zone I found a little bit easier, I did that quite quick, but the top 10 especially kept changing things around, I kept changing my mind. But either way, it's a prediction, boys. Usually predictions are very hard to predict, and there's usually quite a few surprises as well. So I put a couple of surprises in there, but not any major ones. So just before I do start, if you could drop a like, we'll go with 50 likes, and drop sub if you're new. Let me know your thoughts on whether you disagree. I'm sure everyone's going to disagree with something because there's so many different teams. So, and let me know about your team as well, because especially the top 10, I don't always watch every game in the top 10, so I don't know your club as much as you guys. If you're like a West Brom fan or something like that, I don't know your club anywhere near as much as you, so let me know your thoughts as well. So into the relegation spot, we're doing it in groups of like the relegation zone, mid-table, and then top 10. So we've got the relegation zone. I've gone with newly promoted Fulham. I can't see them staying up, I really can't. Maybe if they sign like Watkins, but they've already got Mitrovic up top, but I feel like they're just going to leak goals, I really do. I think they're coming bottom. We've got Newcastle 19th. I feel really sorry for Newcastle fans. They deserve the takeover, man. They do not deserve their current owner. I can't even say his name. He'll get this video demonetized. So I feel bad for Newcastle, but I do think they're going to go down. Even Andy Carroll can't save them, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Newcastle are going to come 19th. Then 18th, a bit of a surprise, but they were lucky to not get relegated last season. We have gone with 18th West Ham. It's a bit of a sticky one because currently they currently still have Declan Rice. So if they keep Declan Rice, I think they could potentially finish one or two spaces up. But even still, even with Declan Rice, I think they'll struggle. But if they do cash out on Declan Rice, get maybe like 50 or 60 million, maybe to Chelsea, potentially they can bring in a couple of players. But I just don't know where they could strengthen with 50 or 60 million to get them up here. I'm not too sure, because Felipe Anderson, did he have like one goal last season? I don't know if he was injured. He might have been injured, but he had like one goal last year and he weren't good enough. So West Ham I can see going down. Jumping into, we've got quite a few teams here. So we've gone with Aston Villa 17th. We've gone with Brighton 16th. I've gone with newly promoted West Brom in 15th. We've gone Crystal Palace 14th, Burnley 13th, Leeds 12th, and Southampton 11th. So I'll have a brief talk about why I've put some of the teams there. So Aston Villa I think will just survive. They brought in quite a few new signings, so I think Aston Villa will just survive. I think it's a bit of between West Ham, Villa, Brighton, those sort of teams. I think it's going to come down to the last few games of the season. Like last season, it was only a couple of points in it. I think it's going to be the same next season. We've got Brighton 16th again. I think they're just gonna survive. They have got Ben White coming back as well, so that'll be interesting to see whether or not Ben White does start with like who's their other centre back? Dunk. So if Dunk and Ben White at centre back could be a little partnership there. So not a bad little partnership if they do start him. So I think Brighton will just survive as well. We've gone with West Brom 15th. So I've not watched a lot of a lot of West Brom, but I've been doing quite a bit of research into them, and by the sound of it, Bilic has got them playing some decent football, and I like the look of that Pereira at Cam. He had like 16 assists. He had way more assists than anyone in the Championship. So I think West Brom will do well. I really do. From what I've seen and what I've heard, they do play like a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1. So I think they'll do decent. Potentially they might do terrible, but I don't know loads about West Brom. I really don't. I've only read about them, so just take that with a pinch of salt. Me putting them 15th. They might come bottom, but either way, we're going with West Brom 15th. We've gone Crystal Palace 14th. They rely so much on Zaha. If they sell Zaha, they're coming bottom. It's as simple as that. They have signed Eze, which is pretty decent. They're usually pretty solid defensively as well, so I think they'll just be middle of the pack. Burnley haven't really signed anyone. I don't think they've signed a single player, actually. So they've not strengthened, but they're always pretty strong at the back. Typical Sean Dyche. I mean, I hope, if there's one team I want to go down, it's Burnley, because they're the most anti-football team you'll ever see. So if Burnley could go down, that'd be great, but I think they'll finish mid-table. 12th, we've got Leeds. I think a lot of people will think Leeds will come around mid-table / maybe even top 10, but I feel like Leeds will come maybe even lower than 12th, because even though they've got a solid team and they play good football doesn't win you games, especially in the Premier League. I feel like Norwich actually played some really good football last FIFA. last season. But where did that get them? They came like, 20th? So if Leeds play really nice football and they're leaking goals at the back, I know they need a centre-back. They've been linked with some random guy. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. And they've also been linked with DePaul as well. I think he's a centre-mid. So he could be a good little signing. But Leeds, I think, will come middle of the pack. And then Southampton, 11th. So I've only put Southampton 11th because after lockdown especially, they looked sick. They looked so good. And they're going to rely on Danny Ings a lot again. So whether or not Danny Ings will bang 20 plus goals again, I do not know. Even if he gets that 18 plus, that'll be absolutely sick for Southampton. And if they can keep up their form, I think they could finish top 10 quite easily. But I struggled. I wanted to put them in like 10th or 9th, but I really struggled to get them in the other teams because the other teams are so strong. So jumping into the top 10. So we've got from 10th to 7th now. I thought I'd break it up a little bit. We've gone with 10th, we've gone with Sheffield United. The only reason I put them down a little bit is because they've sold the goalkeeper, and I think it's a little bit of a risk because they've sold. They had Henderson on loan. My bad, my brain's not working. They had Henderson on loan, and they've just signed Ramsdale from Bournemouth, who's a solid keeper by the way. But Henderson was so crucial for Sheffield. So whether or not Ramsdale will do just as good of a job, I'm not too sure. But either way, I've gone with 10th, and especially because other teams have strengthened, especially Everton, who we're going to lead on to now. Everton have strengthened massively. I feel like Everton were lacking an attacking midfielder badly because Sigurdsson's just nowhere near as good. I'm not too sure why. He used to be pretty good in terms of goals and assists and stuff like that. Set pieces, he was a beast. But they brought in James Rodriguez, who's a bit of a risk, but he could be pretty sick. They brought in Allen, who I've heard mixed stuff about, and also I don't know if they brought in Decore. You'll have to let me know. I know they've been linked with Decore, but that's a good little midfield. That is a very solid little midfield they've brought in. Obviously they've still got Richarlison, who, if James Rodriguez can supply Richarlison, then they could have a solid little team, and they could quite easily finish around that Europa League spot quite easily. So Everton 9th. I've gone with Leicester 8th, which is a bit of a surprise to people. I feel kind of bad for putting them 8th because I don't know if they're going to be that bad, but it's mainly based off current form. Off current form, they were terrible. The amount of points they dropped. I know they're missing their right back badly because he's one of the best right backs in the league, Ricardo Pereira. They've also lost their left back. I think they're going to buy in Castagna from Atalanta. So it'll be interesting to see if Castagna's any good. I've heard he's pretty decent. But he's going to have to fill Chilwell's boots. But other than that, they've got a solid team. I mean, Maddison's still out injured. Pereira's still out injured. I think Soyuncu, I don't know if he's still suspended for the first game. I'm not too sure. He might be back. But either way, they've got a solid team, but I don't think they could break into the top 7, especially with the current squads of the other 7. So we've got Wolves in 7th. I mean, do I really need to comment on Wolves? Wolves are such a solid team. Made it to Europa League? Was it semi-finals, quarter-finals? I actually can't remember. It was far in the Europa League anyway. I think it might have been semis. But either way, Adama Traore killing it. Jimenez still a beast. Strong at the back. They have just sold Doherty. But if they sell Doherty, which they have to Spurs obviously, and they bring in Maitland-Niles, I think that is unreal business because he's like, 5 or 6 years younger? And for around the same price, if not maybe like 5 million more. Because Doherty's like 29 now, which I thought was a bit strange from Spurs, but I guess you need some experience somewhere. So we've gone with Wolves 7th. If they do bring in Maitland-Niles, I think they could even finish top 6 quite easily. But they do need a right wing back replacement, so it'll be interesting to see who they get there. Anyway, into the 6th and 5th spot, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this. I've gone with Spurs above Arsenal, and I am a Chelsea fan, by the way, so I've tried to be as unbiased as possible, but hear me out, because I know what Arsenal fans are going to be typing already. I know you've beat some of the top 6. I know you've beat Liverpool, you beat City, you beat Chelsea to the back end of the season. But you've got to understand that the season's based off 38 games. And I've noticed when Arsenal have to sit deep and they have to counter-attack and stuff like that, that benefits them. But when they have to break a team down like Burnley or Aston Villa or Brighton, they struggle so much. They really struggle, and I feel like over 38 games they're going to be inconsistent. I think Arteta's got massive potential, but this season especially I think they're still building, and it's the start of a rebuild though. It is a start, so I think they're going to just finish 6th. I don't think you'll be far behind Spurs, I really don't, which leads us into Spurs, who I don't know if they've sold Aurier, but they've just brought in Doherty obviously. Hopefully they can get their fullbacks back on form, because I feel like their fullbacks especially, if they can get them back on form, that'll be absolutely sick. Alderweireld at the back, Davinson Sanchez at the back as well, obviously. Midfield, they brought in Højbjerg as well from Southampton, which could be interesting. Him in a like more of a possession-based team. I don't know how Mourinho's going to make Højbjerg play. I really don't. Whether he'll play CDM or what, with Sissoko or Winks. I don't know how he's going to line that team up. And they've also been linked with Leon Bailey as well. So maybe Leon Bailey, Lucas Moura, Son, Kane. It's a strong team. It's a very strong team. If you can get them playing, it's a strong team. I reckon 5th for them. 4th have gone United. I need to make this faster. United 4th. I think the top 4 is just honestly a bit of preference. A bit of like, it's so hard to pick. I nearly put United 3rd or 2nd, but Manchester United not yet. I don't think they'll get as lucky with pens, so we'll put them 4th. And we'll see how they do. But I think United could quite easily get top 4, higher than 4th. They're linked with Van der Beek as well. I think he's having a medical today, which is going to be interesting because I don't know where they'll play Van der Beek. I know people are saying Van der Beek, Fernandes and Pogba in midfield, but is that the most offensive? I don't know. Against the top 6 as well, I think they'd destroy that midfield, especially Chelsea's. Got to put it out there. Either way, I think they've got a solid team. Maybe Matic in there. Maybe they'll put Van der Beek as like an attacking mid. I don't know how they'd work him, but either way, we've got United 4th, but could quite easily break into the top 3 quite easily. Which leads us into Chelsea, my team. I've gone Chelsea 3rd. Again, Chelsea could quite easily finish 4th. Could quite easily finish 2nd, to be fair. I can't see us challenging for the league this year, though. I think next year's this is our rebuild season, especially we're so close to having the fully built team, but we need to gel. And next season will be the title challenge, I think. This season, not though. I don't think we're going to be consistent enough because you've got to be consistent to win the league, obviously. So when we're Chelsea 3rd, but I am excited to see how Werner and Ziyech do, especially, which jumps us into 2nd and 1st. We have gone Man City 1st. Main reason being is their squad depth. It's just as simple as that. Starting 11 wise, Man City and Liverpool, I think they have a fairly similar team. Man City have finally brought in a centre-back. I said last transfer window, Liverpool will win the league if you don't bring in a centre-back. They didn't bring in a centre-back and Laporte got injured for 4 months. So they brought in a centre-back this time though. They brought in Nathan Ake. I still feel like they need to bring in a left-back unless they bring in Ake in to play left-back. I don't really know how they're going to work that. But they do need a left-back because Benjamin Mendy, he's going to cost you games. I'm saying that now because defensively he is dodgy. Going forward, he's sick. He's probably one of the best left backs in the league in terms of going forward. Not the best, but one of. But defensively, he is dodgy. But other than that, you have got an outrageous squad. And Liverpool haven't made any signings yet. I mean, they're linked with Thiago. If they sign Thiago, that is going to be huge. But I just think if Salah, Mane, Van Dijk, Trent, even Trent, I think Trent's probably arguably one of their most important players. Without Trent, they look a different team. So, one of those gets injured, who have you got to bring in? Genuinely, like, Origi, you've got Brewster. I've got Brewster in my dream team, actually. He might get some minutes. But wingers-wise, especially, you got Minamino. I think is Minamino and Shaqiri decent, but when City have got, like, Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres now, they've got every player out coming out their ass. Same with Chelsea. I think Chelsea's got the second best squad. Not starting 11, but squad in the league, in my opinion. And I think squads are going to be a huge thing this year, especially. So, either way, boys, it's going to divide opinions. That is the Premier League prediction I've gone with. It was very tough. Like I said, I kept changing things around. I had Chelsea second at one point, Liverpool third, but I feel like you've got to base it on consistency. You can't base it off just we can beat the top six. You've got to beat all the lower league teams as well. Hence why I put Arsenal sixth. I know a lot of people have put Arsenal fourth, but short-term memory. A lot of fans have got a short-term memory. You've got to think of the whole season. So, either way, boys, if you could drop a like, I'd appreciate that. 50 likes would be sick. Let me know your thoughts on whether I've absolutely effed up. I might have effed up on some of the newly promoted teams because I don't fully track the championship. I just semi-track them. But anyway, boys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.